record it so he can mark me on it, which is fun, not.
We won't concentrate on that, will we?
I had a message come to me not long ago after things that have happened within our church and within our group sort of thing. And my title for my message today is actually Evaluating Advice. And I've based it around the book of Esther. A.W. Tozer had in one of his books had written, "No one has any right to cancel others who is not ready to hear or follow the Lord." And it's a huge reminder to myself as a Christian, and probably to each and every one of you, the responsibility that comes to us giving advice to others, not just other Christians, but even just general people in our lives. So I just want to, after introducing you to sort of what I'm going to be saying, I want to read through Esther chapter 3 if we could.
This is one from out there because I've got behind. I can see. Okay. Oh, thanks, Kylie. So just while we're doing that, it's Marjorie's birthday today. That's why she's not here. I mean, not that it's her birthday, but because Linda's taking her out today.
She has a big day out for her birthday, doesn't she?
Yes, yes.
So I took up a card and left in her room
Oh, thank you, Val.
from the ladies. Margaret wasn't well enough to continue with cards.
No.
It's in those Bibles. It's before Job, Kylie.
Yep. I'll do this. She can go to the front.
Sometimes these little books get hidden.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're just reading from there. I apologise, I can't pronounce the king's name properly. I've been practising it, but I still can't get it. So I'll just say the king.
Okay.
Sometime later, King began to single out Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the
Agagite.
Agagite.
Is that right?
Yeah.
for advancement. Eventually, he gave him precedence over all his fellow officers. All the king's servants at the king's gate would kneel and bow down before Haman, because the king had so ordered. But Mordecai would neither kneel nor bow down to him. The king's servants at the king's gate asked Mordecai, "Why don't you obey the king's orders?" But after they had confronted him a number of times without his paying attention to them, they told Haman, in order to find out whether Mordecai's explanation that he was a Jew would suffice to justify his behaviour. Haman was furious when he saw that Mordecai was not kneeling and bowing down to him. However, on learning what people Mordecai belonged to, it seemed to him a waste to lay hands on Mordecai alone. Rather, he decided to destroy all of Mordecai's people. the Jews throughout the whole of the king's kingdom. In the first month, the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of the king, they began throwing pur, that is, they cast lots, before Haman every day, every month until the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. Then Haman said to the king, there is a particular people scattered and dispersed among the peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their laws are different from those of every other people. Moreover, they don't observe the king's laws. It doesn't befit the king to tolerate them. If it please the king, have a decree written for their destruction, and I will hand over 330 tons of silver to the officials in charge of the king's affairs to deposit in the royal treasury. The king took his signet ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedatha of Agagite, the enemy of the Jews. The king said to Haman, the money is given to you and the people too, to do with as seems good to you. The king's secretaries were summoned on the 13th day of the first month. They wrote down all Haman's orders to the king's army, commanders and governors in all the provinces, and to the officials of every people, to the province in its own script, and each people in their own language. Everything was written in the name of the king and sealed with the king's signet ring. Letters were sent by a courier to all the royal provinces to destroy, kill and exterminate all Jews from young to old, including small children and women, on a specific day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, and to seize their goods as plunder. A copy of the document to be issued as a decree in every province, as to be publicly proclaimed to all the peoples, so that they would be ready for that day. At the king's order, the runners went out quickly, and the decree was issued in Shushan, the capital. Then the king and Haman sat down for a drink together, but the city of Shushan was thrown into confusion. So that sort of leads me to the conclusion. I'm not going to preach a whole message on it. I'd like to, but I won't. There's some of us here sort of today that we've been giving people advice and not really knowing the situation that the person's going through, and we haven't really been praying about it or seeking God for guidance in the situation and allowing Him to help us with what He wants us to do and what He wants us to say. And with saying that, I sort of think to myself as a Christian, and probably to you guys as well, what are we doing and whose advice are we taking in our lives, and allowing it to help us take those life-changing decisions in our life, and is it really godly advice that we're taking on? Yeah, so that sort of concludes what I wanted to share.
Yeah. Yeah.